everybody. Welcome to SLC Punkcast Live and Wired. I am your host, Eric the Unit Norris, and I am here to tell you about shows that will be happening in and around the Salt Lake area, whereas Dustin's going to be telling you about shows and bands that are on tour nationwide, even worldwide. Anyway, I was not here last week. Well, you weren't seeing me in person last week. Or you didn't see my face last week. I was very, very busy that last week, and part of which was because I went to a couple of shows. Actually, a good chunk of it was. But the show that I went to in place of the Punkcast, well, I will be telling you about that one. And another show that I attended. I attended two very fucking awesome shows. It went from New York hardcore to Scumdog GWAR. That's a working title right now. It may fit, it may not. I'll probably come up with a better title at the end of this, but that is kind of what I'm going for. Anyway, these are my tales from the pit. So the first tale from the pit is, New York hardcore. It was Agnostic Front and Murphy's Law making up the show that they, for the Salt Lake show that they canceled last March because they were coming from Denver and it got snowed in. So they had to skip Salt Lake City and go straight to Vegas, which sucked for us, but that happens because winter carries on into the spring in this fucking state. So yeah, some bands who go that route from Denver to Salt Lake is not the best. It is not the best, traveling with the weather. So we got there, and La Armada had finished playing, didn't catch a single note of their set. I'm sorry, guys. We were on there. Me and my girlfriend went. This was sort of our 6-month men's anniversary present celebration, whatever. It was sort of a whole weekend thing, but we went, and we got there right as, like I said, right as Armada had finished playing, and which was fine because we were mainly there to see Murphy's Law and Agnostic Front, and I remember when that show got canceled back in March, aforementioned. I was super pissed, not so much that I was missing Agnostic Front. Granted, it's awesome. I love those guys, but I've seen them a million times. I know what to expect. Murphy's Law I've only seen once. And that is not enough. That is not enough. It's, Murphy's Law is an absolute riot live. They are just such great performers. And Jimmy G is a hell of a front man. And, you know what, let's just get to talking about the set right now. Yeah, Murphy's Law came up and they just absolutely floored the fucking joint. They were so on it, just so in the pocket, playing such hits like, Panty Raid and Beer and a fucking, what the hell is that song called? Yeah, they played Panty Raid, obviously. They did their, and they did Cavity Creeps, and they did, let me see, Beer, and then Quest for Herb, and then Barbecue. They were just fucking killing it. They were having such a great time, and Jimmy G was just cracking jokes the whole fucking time. He was saying like it's great to be back in Salt Lake City, and oh shit, I can't say shit. I'm sorry, it's great to be back in this freaking city. Shit like that. And as far as I know, Murphy's Law is the only band who can play a show in a bar and have their own six-pack on stage. And yes, they did open it. They were passing them out to people. They threw them out to the crowd. Jimmy took a fucking 12-ounce PBR, took a fucking bite out of it, then threw it into the audience. Meanwhile, he had a beer. Other times he just had a beer in his hand and he was going around the audience on the floor cheersing people. He cheersed me, which was awesome. And yeah, getting all up in people's faces, screaming the music to them, and just having a good time with everybody. It's just, they are just some other band. They are just something else to see live, to experience them live. They are super funny. And they even brought out the guitarist from Strung Out, who is the godfather to to one of Roger Murray's kids. I think the godfather to Amy, actually. Something like that. Something like that. I'm a little fuzzy on that information. But anyway, the guitarists have strung out. He came out and did some songs with Murphy's Law. Played the fucking guitar for him, which was cool. And yeah, they had some good times up on there. And they even ended their set with the cover of "Someone's Gonna Get Their Head Kicked In Tonight," and everyone went off the fucking chain for that one. So yeah, if you've been watching my Instagram stories, if you've seen the footage I posted of Murphy's Law, you had an idea. You had an idea of what the show was all about. The only thing that sucked is was the sound. Like the sound guy at Metro, I don't think he knows what he's doing. If it was the house sound guy, because you could barely hear Jimmy's vocals when the music was going. And the same could be said for Agnostic Front when they took the stage. And yeah, let's get into Agnostic Front. They opened up with their stage walking music was the Ennio Morricone score to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, you know. Wow, wow, wow. Which is just so fucking epic, and it's fitting because of Vinny Stigma's latest record, his solo record, The Outlaw. He's going all full spaghetti western. It's pretty fucking awesome. So, and it's just an epic song to start a truly epic show. And then the music for the introductory song, the intro song for their album, The American Dream, died. I think it was called, let me see. I think it was, why don't I remember these things? I guess it's just called the intro. Just, whatever. It is the introductory track. It's got all this, all these sound clips from newsreels and, all these broadcast channels. And it even has the classic line from George Carlin. It's called The American Dream because you got to be asleep to believe it. And then Vinny and Aaron and the other guys in Agnostic Front, I forget their names, they all walk out on stage and just absolutely get everybody riled up. And then as the song is holding out on that last note, out comes Roger, and he's just like, and he says his hellos to Salt Lake City. And then it's like, this is our new song. This is called Peace. Yep. And they kick into their, to the newest, the first single that they released for their new album, another voice? The Echoes in Eternity. Jesus Christ, Echoes in Eternity. They kick it off into, well, they don't start with that one. They do get into it. But the first song they play is Peace. And then they go into the Eliminator, and then they get into some of the other classic songs. They play some of the, I Miss the Old New York, and then Only in America, My Life, My Way, and then of course they get into Victim in Pain, and then Your Mistake, and then when they get into Power, that's when Roger hands the mic over to Vinny, and Vinny starts singing it. And Vinny, of course, is all over the damn place. He gets into the fucking circle pit. It's in the middle of the pit, and everyone is like, all right, everyone do a circle pit around Vinny. And that was not one, but he didn't get in there once. He got in there twice. He got in there twice with the fucking people, and he's just shredding away and just hammering away at the fucking guitar, and just the crowd is just going insane around him. And it was just awesome. It was just an awesome sight to behold. Here is Vinny, like a 70-something-year-old New York hardcore veteran. Kind of the reason that New York hardcore is alive, is existing. And here he is, still paying it forward. And here are his fans just enjoying everything about him. So, yeah. And, of course, he also took the vocal chops during when they played Polly the dog. Polly the beer-drinking dog. That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one. And then of course, what would be an Agnostic Front set without Crucified, the song by Iron Cross. I know it's a cover song, but they pretty much made it one of their own, one of their flagship songs. And talking of flagship songs, when it came to Gotta Go, oh boy, you can imagine that everyone was clamoring up in front. I was getting fucking squished, man. I was getting squished. But I was just sticking my hands up all the same, just be like, gotta go! Can't believe what I see! Planting thoughts in my head! Great fucking set. And even after that, even after that stellar, what should have been a proper closer, I mean, they walk off stage, and it's like, no, you're coming back. And they do. And they came back played Police State, and they played Addiction, and then they ended it with a cover of Blitzkrieg Bop, which I've seen them done many times before. And it's awesome every time, don't get me wrong. I love that. They preluded that by saying we gotta pay tribute to the inspirations. And this was the band that, without them, playing shows at CBGB's, punk rock would not exist. We wouldn't be here. This is the Ramones. Yeah, Blitzkrieg Bop. There's just something magical about just being in a crowd of people, all just shouting, hey ho, let's go. It's like we all know the lyrics. We all know the words. This song is practically synonymous with punk rock itself. I hear it in commercials, for God's sake. It's, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. The Ramones are the Beatles of punk rock. There's no question about it. They are the biggest, most popular, and some always argue overrated band. But I'm like, no, they're the most important band. One of the most important bands in rock and roll, in rock music in general, and definitely the most important in punk rock. Because without them, where all would we be? Honestly. So that was an amazing set, an amazing show. I mean, you could have just stopped the show right there. I would have been satisfied. But no, we still have one more band to go. We did. We certainly did. The band that closed the night was Strung Out. And it was kind of weird to consider this because my girlfriend actually pointed this out, that this was basically Agnostic Front and Murphy's Law's tour, and they should have been closing that night. But whoever was promoting the show switched the lineup around as to cater to the fan base of said city. Because they know that, people are in Salt Lake are mostly like the skate punks of old. They're going to be showing up for Strung Out. They're not going to be showing up for the old school New York hardcore stuff. So if we want to get them to come early enough to experience these bands, just to sort of influence them to come earlier so that they can see these other bands, so that they can get to the main event. You know what I'm saying? It's just again playing to the fans of that setting. But Strung Out, they were good. They were good. I'm not the biggest Strung Out fan, though I have seen them a bunch of times, not really of my own accord. It's just kind of happenstance. I've seen them play a few times at Punk Rock Bowling. I saw them play with a few times with Pennywise, and once with some other bands that I wanted to go see. It's just been a sort of... Yeah, it's just been here and there. I've never actively gone out of my way to go see Strung Out. I know how I know how sort of unfair that sounds, I guess. But I mean, I stuck around for the whole set. I watched Strung Out. They did do an amazing job performing. They are great performers. It's just following the chaos and just the sheer raw energy and the overall showmanship of Murphy's Law and Agnostic Front. you have a lot to live up to. You have a lot of expectations to meet. Because the crowd in Strung Out, it wasn't nearly as crazy. There were some pits going on, but they weren't as intense. And of course, Strung Out isn't going to send their people down, their guitarists down into the pit to join the audience, and the singer isn't going to jump down there anyway. In fact, the singer was a man of few words. One thing that did stand out, though, is their singer, their guitarist was talking about how it sucks that Ace Frehley died recently. And, he was like a huge influence on him. And it makes sense because Strung Out's guitars, they are very metal inclined. You can hear it in the songs, all the harmonizing guitar solos and just the overall shredsmanship of them all. Like, Strung Out really knows how to shred. They fucking kill it. You can tell they're total metalheads. And what's funnier is he actually started playing the opening riff to Detroit Rock City. And then the drummer followed suit. I was like, are you doing an impromptu Kiss cover? But they didn't. They didn't. The singer didn't know all the words. And then they're thinking, hey, for Halloween, we'll probably just do a Kiss cover set. Yeah, let's do it. You should do it now. But that's just incredible wishful thinking. I mean, it would have been awesome if they had just done an impromptu Detroit Rock City, but that's spilt milk. So anyway, that was the first show. That was the New York hardcore show in the middle of with a sort of tag-along strung out show. But what was the other show that I had to go to? Well, you guys already picked up on it. I went to go see GWAR. I went to see the mighty GWAR, the scumdogs of the universe, come back to Salt Lake City because they are celebrating the birthday of GWAR. Yeah, their little T-Rex, their little dinosaur pet that they have. Don't tell the salmonizer. Don't tell the cuttlefish. The cuttlefish is somewhere. It probably just ejected itself from Odorous Urungus's body and is now probably swimming in the lake that the Odorous was given the Viking send-off. And now it's going to become our own little folk legend. The cuttlefish from the planet Scumdog is sort of our version of the Loch Ness Monster. Of Nessie. We'll say Nessie. Anyway, so yeah, the GWAR show. Yeah, we get there dressed all in white. Well, I was wearing my GWAR shirt, my GWAR Scumdogs baseball tee, and my girlfriend Kate was wearing all white. Because that's sort of the point. You go there to get sprayed. There is a lot of fake alien semen and dinosaur blood and priest poop that's being literally sprayed in your face. And I love it. Oh, do I love it. But we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's see, the first band we didn't catch. We arrived there right as they were finishing up their set. It was Blood Vulture. But based on what we heard, it was just like a pretty standard soft boy rock music. It just didn't really feel like it fit the bill, so to speak. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. But oh well, such shit happens. It was not, and that just seemed to be the overall takeaway from my friends who had arrived early. They said, oh yeah, that first band, they were kind of boring. Blah, 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 blah. So, okay, well, I'll take your word for it. What I heard wasn't anything to write home about, but I wasn't here for the whole thing. But whatever. One of the bands that I was initially there to see is the Dwarves. I really like the Dwarves. I have seen the Dwarves a lot of times. And this time, yeah, they didn't disappoint. Black Dahlia is always a joy to watch on stage, and of course all the other members on there. One of which I like to say is he who should not be named without the luchador mask or not wearing the jockstrap. He's still not wearing a shirt, but but nobody says anything about that. Nobody says, at least not that I've really heard. I mean, the Dwarves haven't announced that he who should not be named is not even in the band anymore. Or maybe he's just unmasked. Maybe the shtick wore off. Maybe the fella doesn't like playing in a jockstrap and Converse Chuck Taylors anymore. and a luchador mask. But whatever, be that as it may, it was cool to see the Dwarves on the same stage that I saw them the first time 10 years ago. When they were doing 11 years ago. When they were doing when they were filming the footage for the concert scene for SLC Punk 2. The film that should not be named. The film that should not be mentioned. And I remember being in that pit years ago. And I remember seeing MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, who starred in that flick. That's already a bad sign. But this is before he was making an ass of himself over the past few years. Until then, we just knew him as a subpar rapper, and now we knew him as a shitty actor. Anyway, he was in the pit. And it's full like a punk garb, dressed in character, and he had a GoPro strapped to his chest. And he was getting like pit footage. And there was a circle pit going around, and he was going the wrong way. And I was like, oh, you motherfucker. And as soon as I came across him, I stuck my arm out, boom! Fucking clotheslined him. Oh, it was a great time. That's a nice bragging right. That's the only good thing to have come out of SLC Punk 2, was the fact that I got a chance to clothesline MGK, and I took it. Unfortunately, that didn't make it into the final cut. Maybe they didn't want to hurt his little ego. But as soon as I clotheslined him, he was gone. He was out. I was like, oh, hope we get enough footage. Yeah, hopefully they put that in the final cut, but they didn't. Yeah, but anyway, Dwarves were, this time around, wasn't as crazy, and not nearly the same amount of celebrities in the pit, but it was still a fun show nonetheless. Playing classics like, Backseat of My Car and Let's Fuck and Everybody's Girl. And of course they play I'm Not Going to Salt Lake City, because, yeah, of course they do. They always play that one, especially when they go to Salt Lake. It's just standard. So Dwarves was a great one. Now Helmet. Helmet was that was another beast. I had never seen Helmet. I'd listened to them quite a bit of times. I listened to them for a while, and I had never seen them live. And after seeing them here, yeah, it's they're whatever. Look, I really like Helmet. I really like their music. I think they are awesome. Definitely like a stellar addition to the heavy side of alternative metal, when it was like coming out of hardcore and into more of like a I don't want to say radio friendly, but like the alt metal scene of the 1990s, but on the heavier side, still carrying along a lot of the chug and a lot of those heavy riffs. And they were good. It's great music. But live, my God, they were boring. I'm sorry. They just were. They were not they were not great at like holding interest in the audience. They weren't really good at holding my interest. They were just sort of there. They were playing the songs, and they were saying a few things in between, but nothing too memorable. It's like, yeah, we were headbanging and just having a good time, but they weren't very interactive. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. So, I mean, about halfway through their set, I just went outside in the back porch and decided to, was just hanging out and shooting the shit with some of my friends. And I was talking to one of my friends named Tyler, and he was there with his best friend, Talus. And I was talking with him, and then all of a sudden Talus, who was like standing behind him, leaning up against the wall, just fucking collapses. Just boom! Just fucking boom! And he like hits his head on Tyler's boot. And we're like, what the fuck? So we are surrounding him, and we're like, dude, are you okay? What's going on? He just fainted. And he wasn't on anything. He wasn't doing he wasn't on any drugs or any substance like that. He only drank a couple of beers. It was, I'm not even sure what the actual diagnosis was, but when the medical team came out, it was just, I don't know, it was just exhaustion or whatever. I mean, he was he was able to he was okay. He was able to get up. We got him to stand up, got him to hydrate and everything. He was still kind of out of it, but he was at least okay. And his head wasn't bleeding, and thank God for that. He hit his head pretty hard, but thankfully it wasn't right on the concrete. It was on Tyler's boot. It was a steel toe boot, but still there was a little cushioning, and it's not like it's a dense, solid object like concrete. So lightened the blow, it softened the blow just a little bit. But yeah, we made sure he was okay, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to go in and watch the show, get a good spot for GWAR. I want to be in the splash zone, And we did. We got up to as close to the front as we possibly could. And yeah, then the house lights go out. And then on the TV screens, we get a little message from the great leader of their new album. This nice little mascot they have. He's dressed up like a uniformed, it's unspecified dictator-like outfit, just wearing the suit and the cap and all the right garb. Anyway, he's given the announcement, and it's the Great Circus Train Disaster, the intro of their last album, and then everyone is coming out. Here comes the Jaws of Death. Here comes Flatimus Maximus. Here comes everybody dressed in the classic GWAR attire. And then they just start spraying the audience, just pow, 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 blood guns and everything. And then they go right into Filthy Flow. Oh, and it was fun. It was such a fun show. It was a fun show after that. But yeah, then they got metal. Then they had like the Metal Land and Saddam Go-Go. And then they did the Crack in the Egg, which they brought out like a big giant egg, and then it hatches, and then out comes little GWAR, the little hatchling. Here's little GWAR, and he's just like, yeah. And then they move him off to the side, and then they keep going. Then they keep bringing him back. But they keep going through with some of the other songs like Hail Genocide, Fuck This Place, Womb with a View, and The Lot Lizard, and then Bad Bad Men, Motherfucking Liar. And then they showcased the Tyrant King, and then they brought out GWAR again in full fucking gear. But before we get to that, I just gotta say, like in the God, what song was it? Hail Genocide, I think it was. Maybe it was Hail Genocide. They bring out the dictator. They behead him and just like, there it goes. And then, of course, they bring out the priest, and then they, like, stick a crucifix right up his ass, and then he's just blowing his shit out into the audience, and I'm getting pelted in the fucking face. Oh, it was a good time. It was a great time. I got super soaked. Both me and my girlfriend did super soaked. We did before and after pictures. Like, I'll have to have Dustin put these in right here. This is us before. You can barely see because my phone was in a plastic bag, so the quality of this picture is kind of shit. But afterwards, as you can see here, yep, that's common with a GWAR show. Happy anniversary, babe. Men's anniversary. Great times. I wouldn't have spent it with anybody else. But anyway, there was something crazy did happen on stage at the show. Yeah, something crazy happened at a GWAR show. Go figure. But no. Like not staged crazy. Like this was actually pretty concerning. The actor, the operator of the GWAR costume. You're bringing out this sort of life-size dinosaur, raptor-looking creature, and he's supposed to be walking and lumbering in that full body suit. And he comes off from the side stage. And for a second, it looks like he's stuck. Like he's like it's struggling to get through. We're thinking, oh, he's probably caught on a cable or a wire or something. And the stagehands are rushing to his assistance, and then they're like, okay, but then GWAR is going, like the song is going, and nobody's singing. I'm going, wait, something is up here. Something is up. And then eventually GWAR comes loose. Then he just lumbers out, but you can tell they're like heavy steps. They are like measured steps. And then And then why do I keep forgetting the guy's name? The singer. He brandishes a sword and then sticks it up in the roof of his mouth, and that's sort of the thing. And then the guy in the costume wiggles around a little bit. Then they pull the sword out, and then the puppeteer, the guy operating the costume, just falls flat, like boom. Well, he falls back. And that's when everybody starts crowding him, like, okay, let's get him up here. They get him up, and they try crazily. They're not even crazily. They try with all their effort to put him back behind the curtain. And then me and my girlfriend, we were on the side of the stage, so we can kind of see behind the partitions. And we could see, like, the guys just, like, basically ripping the costume apart, like, just pulling off the legs, pulling off the arms, like, just trying to get the guy out of there. And we're just looking like, what the fuck happened? Did he have, like, a heart attack or something? And that's what we think we had. Like, it was just something. It was something like that. I mean, these guys are trained for it. You know, they're trained for such mishaps like this. I mean, it's bound to happen at some point, but nobody said anything, and they were like trying to keep the show going in character as much as possible. You know, you got to assume that they are trained for mishaps like this if and when they do happen. But yeah, nobody said anything. Nobody like after the fact. I tried looking it up. No, but there was nothing on their social media posts or anything that was talking about this mishap. So it's just kind of up to speculation at that point. We just know that there was something wrong. Something happened that went wrong, and you know, as the band sort of carried on. You know, they carried on, and we could see like the stagehands and some of the other like in character hands, like they're like Slimenstra. At that point, they just like took off their masks and were like in such sort of a panic mode, just trying to help and resolve this situation. But it was just so yeah, they definitely tried to assess the situation as best as they could, and even though their vocalist, Christ, I will never fucking remember his name. This guy, Pustulus Maximus, that guy? No, Pustulus was still there. Mike Bishop, that guy. Blother the Berserker. Yeah, Berserker. Jesus fucking Christ, I should be better at this. I should be better at my job. Yeah, he eventually left the stage, and then the rest of the band was there left playing, and they were just sort of jamming, you know, not really doing any song, just kind of playing. And then they eventually just let the song fade out, and they waved to the audience, and then they walked off the stage, again, without a word. And then the next, we were just left with an empty stage and just hearing all these disembodied sounds. And I'm assuming this is what they were planning for the encore. Like, GWAR would come out, do his thing, and then he'd leave the stage. And then the rest of the band would just kind of leave the stage as is, and then just sort of leave us in limbo for a minute. And then they come back, and then they would play the encore songs. And that is exactly what they did. And of course they saved the best for last. They played "Sick of You." And with "Sick of You," that's when their stagehands re-entered the stage. And they were just like letting it go with all of the blood attached to the hose, and then just, and it was like getting really far back. It was going like towards like the middle of the audience, about right there. No one was safe from this blast zone unless you were in like the back, the very back. And I was just there. Eventually, I just took off my shirt and I was just like holding it up, just like, aim for this, motherfucker, aim for this. Get the backside too. Because that shirt, ironically, this is not the first show it's been to. In fact, the first time I ever saw GWAR, which was back in 2017, that is where I bought that shirt. And I had seen him 2 other times since then. So it had a grand total of 3 shows worth of fucking juices stained into it. And my girlfriend accidentally washed my shirt. And all the stains went out. Not completely, but noticeably. I mean, the shirt was almost like completely like a reddish brown at that point. Now it's been restored to its former glory because I wore it to the next show, the next GWAR show. Now I have to see him again and again and again to get it back to where I initially had it, where it needs to be. Never wash that shirt. Don't ever wash your GWAR shirt. And babe, don't ever wash that dress. That'll be your Halloween dress. Well, it'll be your GWAR dress. So yeah, GWAR fucking delivered. Every fucking time they deliver. I've never seen a bad GWAR show. Was this the best one? Yes and no. It was a GWAR show. It was fucking perfect for what it was. It was what I was expecting, though I did expect a little more. The last couple of times that I'd seen them, it seemed like there was a lot more blood, a lot more spatter, a lot more stage props, and a lot more mascots coming out, a lot more costumes. It just seemed like there was more, but maybe I'm just looking at it with rose-colored glasses. Not exactly rose-colored glasses. I guess I'm just looking back on it with a sort of longing. Maybe just the nostalgia has taken over. But regardless, it was still a fun show. It was fucking awesome. GWAR always fucking brings it. So, yeah, thank you for just being who you are. So yeah, GWAR. That was one of the 2 shows that I had attended in the last week. Now, for the next week, let's talk about the shows that are happening. And Jesus Christ, there are still so many shows. There are so many. Guys, I don't know what to do here. This is an incredible bulge of concerts that are happening. I know it's October. All the punks and metalheads are trying to get in their celebration and shit, but there's also like so many other festivities going on. I'm running on steam here, guys. This is pretty crazy. One of the shows I'll be attending tomorrow. Like, if you're watching this after it's edited, it may have already happened, or it may be happening tonight, or whatever. But the point is, the next show I will be attending is GBH. GBH and Slaughterhouse and Knuckleheads at the Urban Lounge tomorrow. I'm fucking excited as all fuck. I love GBH. I've only seen them once. And that was not in Salt Lake. That was not my hometown. The last time they were here was like back in 2017-ish, somewhere around there, and I missed that show for some stupid reason. Maybe I was at another show, maybe I couldn't afford it, blah, 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 blah. Excuses, whatever. The point is, I am seeing them now. That is awesome. So that's where I will be. I will be regaling you with that tale from the pit next week. Now, for the shows that are about to come up, for the ones that are about to happen, we'll start with the 24th. There are 3 shows on the 24th. Get used to it. First, we got the Bar Named Sue Spooktacular. That is that's going to be a showcase over at Bar Named Sue over in Midvale, which is on State Street in like 80-something south. If you're a local, you know which one I'm talking about. The guys from Murphy and the Giant and Hulking Boy Giant, Murphy and the Giant, Hulking Boy Giant, and Cougar Gold and Graveyard Violet will all be performing. That's going to be starting at 9 p.m. It's a bar show. It's going to go till last call. Then, meanwhile, that's Bar Named Sue on State. Now Pearl on Main with the little auditorium in Midvale Main Street. We've got Kind Eyes, Snuff Tape, Slow Burn, and In Your Grave all playing. That's a particularly heavy show, if I do say so myself. Anyway, that's going to be $15. Starts at 6 p.m. And then for something in the more underground, the venue Fairyland is throwing their Halloween bash with Gracemaker, Venus Death Trap, and PS Destroy This. It is a free show, and it starts at 6 p.m. Did I say 24th? I meant that was the 25th. 25th. There's another show going on the 25th. Well, there's a lot going on. It's called the Save Me From My Room Monster Mosh. The which includes My Pet Spider, Self-Proclaimed Celebrity, Words of Contempt, Primal Aggression, One-Sided, Janine, Carving Initials, and Anna Karina. And there will also be an acoustic parking lot sets from Evan Seal, and Everything Was Okay, Jet Black Gazebo. That's going to be at One Love Coffee. It is $5 if you're wearing a costume, $10 if you're not, and it starts at 6 p.m. This is going to be that's going to go on late at night. Maybe all these bands have very short sets. Anyway, then on the 26th, we got a couple right there. We have Clown Fetish, who are coming back to Salt Lake with Adam and... They'll be playing with Adam and the Cracker Jacks, Treason, and Unseen Corners. That'll be at Aces High Saloon. It is $10, starts at 7:30 p.m. Meanwhile, the punk rock flea market will be going on. Well, not meanwhile. That'll be starting earlier in the day at 12 p.m. and goes into 6 p.m. That'll be held at Tracy Aviary. There is going to be some live bands playing. I don't know which ones other than the Never Don'ts, which is my friend's band. So that's reason enough to go for me, I say. Never Don'ts are an awesome band. Yeah, but I don't know who else is going to be playing that. Never Don'ts has a particularly short set, so yeah, they can't be the only attraction. For 6 hours? Yeah, come on. All right. Then on the 27th, Viagra Boys are coming back with the Black Lips. This show was announced about a year ago. I had never seen a show get announced that far in advance. Even some of the arena shows don't get that far ahead of notice. It's obviously like 8 or 9 months, but this was like a whole year. I mean, I can understand that for some of the bigger selling bands, but Viagra Boys, I mean, they're kind of big, but not that big. They're a bit of an underground sensation. Hence why they're playing the Union, not the Delta Center or the Maverick Center, anything like that. It's something different. But hey, I guess it's because they're coming from another country. But so are some of these other bands, and they didn't get an announcement that far in advance. But whatever. That's I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's weird. It's just very weird. Anyway, like I said, they'll be at the Union. Out the door is $40.25 for admission, and it starts at 8 p.m. And then on the as we're nearing the Hallows Fest, this is on October 30th. Skullfuck will be playing with Cavernous, Fallu Red, Blue Waffles, Indistinguishable Atrocities, and Weed Hemoth. And that's going to be up at Black Lung Society in Ogden. It is a $12 show and will be starting at 7 p.m. And then on Halloween, there is a few different things happening. First, there is Punk Rock Halloween at Oliver's. That will be with the bands, all these bands doing cover sets. Futex will be doing a cover set of Anti-Cimex. I've heard it a few different ways. Disfeted will be doing a Doom set. Cerebros Destruidos will be doing an Escorbuto set. Mindblock will be doing a Disrupt set. And the Ext will be doing Adolescence. That's going to be at Oliver Rock. It is $5 to enter and starts at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, over at Aces, thousands of blocks away, or thousands of steps away, is going to be the Halloween Massacre. That is going to be a 21 plus showcase with I lost the flyer. You guys will be seeing the flyer right now, but for me, I actually need it. Because I need to read all the bands off of there. Here we go. The Metal Massacre. Yes, they're the Metal Market. Yes, there will be vendors over there from 2. It'll be starting at 2 p.m. and we'll go to 7 p.m. The actual market. All these different vendors will be there. Then the bands will be starting at 8. That will include Al Ghul. I can't read that one. Cinder. I can't read these fucking bands, man. This is kind of embarrassing. Give me a second here, folks. I need to address the. Not address. I need to consult. It's been a long day and it's almost midnight right now. So give me some fucking slack here. Where the hell is it? Where the fuck is it? I'm trying to find the stupid... Wouldn't be so bad if I could just read some of these bands' logos. Here we go, I think. Al Ghul, Cosmlurk, Cantaferous, and Cinder. Those are the 4 bands. Some of their logos are absolutely fucking illegible, but those are the bands that are fucking playing. Jesus. I apologize for that. My God. Long day, folks. Long day. So, yeah, that's going to be happening on the All Hallows Eve. And just a few more for shits and giggles, and probably because I hate myself. Let's talk about the first shows that are happening in November. All of these are happening on November 1st. We first have Restraining Order, Leaving Time, and Skin Show playing at One Love Coffee. That is a $15 show. It will be starting at 7 p.m. And then we have Golpe from Italia coming to Salt Lake. They will be joined by All Systems Fail, Cerebros Destruidos, Griebler, and Futex. That is going to be on at 6th and 6th Studios. That's going to be $10 or pay what you can. The band is coming from Italy, so definitely bring something for them. And it'll be starting at 6 p.m. And then, finally, AFI is coming back to Salt Lake. They will be playing the Complex. I don't know if they have any other supporting bands on there. There's nothing I have seen, but, we got a couple of weeks to find that out. That'll be $52, all fees and shit included, and starts at 7 p.m. And finally, I can take a breather. Jesus Christ, guys, there are so many shows happening. It's a major bulge for some reason. I guess everybody's trying to get a good show in before the cold season sets in and the season of the dead can actually begin. Oh God, well, be thankful for what you have. Anyway, guys, this was a loaded one, and next week is probably going to be equally as loaded. So, yeah, hopefully time works in your favor. Hopefully your energy is up. I'm pretty spent right now, but the job has to be done. Nobody asked me to do it. I just want to do it, but it needs to be done as far as I'm concerned, because now you know all the shit that's happening in the next week and a half. That was like a grand total of, I think, 12 or 13 shows over the course of 10 days. Anyway, now what do I say is the end cap? Oh, yeah. Once again, guys, I am Eric the Unit Norris, the co-host of SLC Punkcast and I'm saying this sort of backwards, co-host of SLC Punkcast and all the other shit here. Hopefully you make it out to some of the shows this week and the next week, and I hope that you have a fun, safe time and that you leave each show unscathed. Or if you don't return unscathed, hopefully you have a good story to go along with it. Once again, I'm Eric the Unit Norris from SLC Punkcast, Tales from the Pit, and Live and Wired. I'm going to turn it over to Dustin now. And you guys, I will see you next week. Peace out.
Thank you, Eric. And now we are going to go around the world in no particular order. Eric did mention in Salt Lake, GBH are making a stop with Slaughterhouse and Knuckleheads. They're at the end of the Knuckleheads time, I believe. And they're going to be picking up on the 24th with Mainliners in Denver, Colorado, and then Lawrence, Kansas, Minneapolis, the Bottom Lounge in Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philly, Boston, all the way up into, New York, and then working their way back, I guess. Baltimore, Richmond, Atlanta, and ending in Nashville on November 12th. You can go to GBH Official UK and get more details there. But I'm really excited to go tonight to go see that show. Also tonight, by the time you watch this, might have come and gone, but if you had the chance in Tucson, Arizona, you get Crime Wave 66. You can see Matt Freeman there on the right in that flyer. His new band playing with Class and Valley Fever, 7 p.m. on the 23rd today. It's $15 in advance, so you know you're paying 20-day of show if you haven't got your ticket yet. It's 21 and older. September's a lot of months away. Let's go, how about November 8th? Bad Terms, it's a little bit out, but Bad Terms record release shows coming up. This will be at O'Brien's Pub on Harvard Avenue in Alston. And we are going to be seeing also Poor Impulse Control, Battery March, Impact Driver, The Workers, DJ Gabe also featured there. Doors at 7, music at 8, $15, and it is a 21 and older show. I believe that is got to be Massachusetts, Boston. There you go. Next up, we got Halloween weekend. The Addicts are going to be in California on October 23rd and November 1st. They'll be playing with the Briefs and Channel 3. They'll be at the Fox Theater in Pomona on the 31st, Fonda Theater in LA on the 1st. So go check out the Addicts and the Briefs and Channel 3. Our pals in Krang have a show. Their next one on this particular flyer, their next two, they got a weekend in Poland, in Warsaw and Krakow on the 30th and 31st, and then they have some in November in Germany, Czechia. So we'll mention those more as it gets closer. Ska versus Punk, and that is this weekend. It is the 24th. This is at Cha Cha Dancing Gym. I think this is Southern California area. Huntington Beach, there we go. Ska versus Punk. You got Spunk, Chudson, Switchblade, Stoneflower, Revancha, Leftover Scott, Zarbamba, a costume contest. Doors of 6. Get there by 6:30, and it's $15. On November 6th, we got an all-ages show in Washington, D.C. at Hades Restaurant. You get Impact Driver, The Fiends, Seclusion, and Charged Youth. Looks like the first show for Charged Youth. And Los Angeles, band traveling all the way up from Los Angeles there, The Fiends. So go check that out. It's $10. All ages and 7 p.m. Agnostic Front, Murphy's Law, La Armada, all on tour with Strung Out. And where are they at? They're about halfway through that tour. Today, they're in Berkeley. Tomorrow, Ventura. Saturday, Pomona. They'll be in Vegas on Sunday. Tucson, Mesa, Palmdale, San Diego, and wrapping up in Garden Grove. So they head south, and they're basically Southern California and Nevada, Arizona for the rest of that tour. Great bands loaded on there. Eric gave you, at the beginning of this, his Tale from the Pit for their show that was here. A Hostel City Weekender 3 with a killer lineup. This is in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania at the American Legion Post 214. It's $45 for a 2-day pass, and you should get it, especially if you can be there for both days. On Friday the 7th, you get Rebelmatic, Incendiary Device, Rambler, Ravagers, The Fiends, Impact Driver, Little Bambinos, and Membranes. And then on the 8th, you get Lower Class Brats, The Virus, FOD, Blank 77, Broken Heroes, Dusters, Doc Rotten, The Stress, Flipside, and Broiled Humanoid. That's a great name. So loaded there. Go check that out in Upper Darby. The Templars are going to be doing Perry Templars Halloween Birthday Bash, and that will be on the 25th. That's this weekend. It'll also feature Castillo, Fuerza Bruta, Ultrasect, Handpay, Tracks. Tickets are at Eventbrite. The venue, First Street Billiards in LA, and it's a 7 p.m. 18 and older with ID show. So make sure you get to that show. That one's killer. Just talked with Tony of Petty Treason recently over on Punk and Roll Worldwide. And on the 31st in Salem, Oregon, Petty Treason's doing their CD release with Dreadnoks, Vicious Cycle, and is that DJ Webbs. So that'll be a 21 and older, $10 show, 8 p.m. And obviously, it's that time of year. Costumes are encouraged. Take advantage. If you start wearing costumes in like May and shit, people are going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're early or you're late. Do it this month. An alternative Munster coming up in Cork, Ireland. Our pals in Easy Company are playing with Molly Volpine Band and The Revolt. It's at Poor Relation, Saturday the 1st, 8 p.m. And, of course, it's free. Get in, support the bands. Saturday, November 8th, we've got Orlando Furioso HC with Bad to Worse, Fashion Crime, and the Steves, or the Stivs. And that's in Baltimore, Maryland. $7, 7 p.m. rather. $10 cash only, it looks like, and 21 and older. Go check out Bad to Worse, Fashion Crime. We played them recently. Put out an album. It's pretty fantastic. Go check it out. We're going back to L.A. this time. Blue Spade 75 Studios, and you can go see on Saturday the 25th An all-ages 7 p.m. show with Mocosos, Peligro Social, First Grade, Flesh Grade. Maybe it's Flesh Grade because some of those are hard to read, fonts. Fester Youth, Mass Incarceration. Look at that flyer, all sorts of other details on there. Make sure you read that or go to Nacho Corrupted on Instagram because Nacho does all kinds of shows through Nothing Less Booking and such. But East LA Backyard Gig, definitely want to get to that and check it out. On the 23rd, that is today, so hopefully you're heading there soon. New Brunswick, New Jersey will feature 21 Gun Salute from Southern California. And then the Spiky Tops, Brainwashed, Gang Time, and Gabe Zander. I don't know Gabe Zander, but all the rest, very cool. So I'm sure Gabe Zander is as well. It's an all-ages BYOB show. $15 is pre-sale, so if you haven't got your ticket, you know you're spending the $20. Get there by 6:30. And finally, on the 24th, we got the return of Squiggy with Intimidation, also 21 Gun Salute, Fear Gods, The Brolic, and this is in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, rather, and it's at the VFW Hall. Doors are at 7, shows at 8, tickets are $15. You still have time, but not much to spend the $15. Otherwise, it's $20, an all-ages show. Brought to you by New Jersey Urban Arts Foundation. That's the UAF. That's all we got this week. Thank you for tuning in for our episode of Live and Wired. Eric's Tales from the Pit. If you got any shows or flyers and stuff, just send them over our way. We will be happy to mention them and include them here. Otherwise, have yourself a great week. Have a great weekend. Catch some shows, and we'll see you on the next one.